Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. This is the Citation 36 in the SE cam model. Now the Citation comes in two sizes, a 36 inch and a 40 inch. It also comes in two cams, an EM cam, which is the shorter draw, and the SE cam, the longer draw. So this is the longer draw version. Its draw length is adjustable from 26.5 up to 32 inches, which is massive. Very few bows go beyond 30 inches in draw length, so this is one of the few. It's a shoot-through riser system, which makes it one of the few bows on the market with a shoot-through riser system. The others are the Hoyt Invicta, Sanlita, which is a Chinese company. They have one. Win & Win has a carbon brace one. I think Martin might have one as well. So there's not many shoot-through risers. Now, the reason they have a shoot-through rise is meant to make the riser stiffer. So less flexing on the riser, so more accuracy is what you're predicting is going to come out of this. The Citation, the cams it has, these cams have been on the market for years. They're an evolved binary cam system, twin cam system, so top and bottom cams are the same. It's got a yoke system here now. In this year's version, you can twist up the yokes here to get some cam lean, but I didn't find it very effective. It's still more effective to move the cam left to right, but you can get minor adjustment through twisting up the yoke here. In the previous version of the Citation was a floating yoke system. So basically 5 strings, now it's down to 3 strings. Aluminium steel rod here with a roller slide, which is served. Twin arrow holes, various sight positions up the side here, so you can move your sight up or down. It has limb locking systems here. You can see this one here is missing the top screw, so this is straight out of the factory. They forgot to put the screw in there. The limbs are a bit different on the Citation to the other bows like the Supra and the other PSE bows. They're more tapered here, so I'm not sure what that does, but it should give more even flex over the entire limb. So I'm not sure why the other bows don't have that, and it's sort of limited to the Citation, but it is what it is. With the Citation, you can change the let-offs by moving this little stop forward or back. Now this is on a few bows now, so PSE sort of brought this out, and a few bows have it, Elite have it, probably Hoyt have it now as well. You can rotate the module by loosening these 2 screws and moving the module backwards and forwards to change the draw length in half-inch increments. You do not require a bow press to do that. You can also change the module that comes with a low let-off module. You can change it to a high let-off module or a fast module. The riser has 2 positions for the rear stabilizers there, and 2 positions for the front stabilizers. You'll see the weight on the Citation is quite back heavy. Now the reason this is a target bow, so it's not going to be used for hunting. It's going to have a front stabilizer which is heavy on it, so when you shoot this bow with a stabilizer, you won't need as much rear weight to it. You generally want all your weight out front because that's what's going to make you more stable. It's going to stop you, moving and torquing. The back one's just balance, basically. It's got a big axle these days that stops the limbs doing that like leaning thing. A little suppressor. The strings are now black, before they used to be coloured. So, Citation 36. Used by Cole Douglas to win the American Championships. This exact bow, the 36 with an SE. This is a Citation 36 with an EM cam. Now, I've been using this bow for a little bit now. I just shot in the Nationals a couple of weeks ago. The bow goes to 28.5. I found this bow extremely fast, like crazy fast. And what I found with this bow when I was shooting it, if I shot well, it shot particularly well, like really, really well. But it was quite hard on my body. And when I say that, it was, for some reason, it felt harder to draw and fatigued my body. So basically, I can shoot a really good end and then I can shoot some sort of average arrows. Overall, I shot about the same scores with this bow as I did with my other bows, but I felt like I shot better, but then I felt like I shot worse, if that makes any sort of sense at all. Part of me was also thinking that the draw length was a little bit short because I normally shoot between 28.5 and 29. So I'm interested to try the SE to see if it's got a smoother draw cycle. And I'm interested in I'm interested in 29 inches to see if that feels more comfortable for me with the 36-inch version. But overall, I was relatively happy with this bow. I just couldn't get, I suppose, the forgiveness and I'm going to say consistency that I get with from the Supra that I shoot. And I shoot the Supra with the same cam as this. So this is the EM, and I've got the Supra with the EM cam. And the Supra with the EM cam, for some reason, feels a lot easier to draw and a lot easier to shoot. Probably doesn't make any sense at all because I shoot about the same scores with both bows, but I just feel like I shoot a lot better arrows with this bow, but then I shoot the odd bad arrow, which then ends up being about the same overall. So little nationals I shot last week, I shot about the same scores as I normally do, but I shot some amazing ends, and then I shot some average ends. In fact, for the last distance, I switched back to the Supra with the EM cams, and I shot really, really well. But that was only 50 pounds because I was fatiguing. So with that, I'm going to show you the PSE Perform. So the PSE Perform, this is the PSE Perform. It's my PSE Perform that I shot for a couple of years. You'll see it's got the same cam system as the current Citation, the floating yoke system. Now, I really like this bow. This bow is still used by people on the world circuit. What's different? The new Citation's got lock-in limb bolts, which I really like. They've changed the cable guard. This is a flexible cable guard. You can see they used to have matching coloured strings, which I preferred, which I do prefer, and then there's straight black strings. The limb design's slightly different. You can see it's thick here and then goes down thin, where the Citation starts thin, then builds up thick and then goes thin. So slightly different limb design, but this bow was fine. It's just this is the changes they've made. So with that, let's shoot this bow through the chronograph and let's see how it draws, let's see how it shoots, and let's see how we... Okay, so one of the things you'll probably notice is the colour. So PSE have changed the colours for 2022, or is it 2021 they changed the colours. So this is the new navy blue. In the past it was a much darker navy blue, and PSE, I'm pretty sure, got rid of the red, and I generally stick with red and black bows and colour match everything. So for me, I was like, well, which colour do I go for? Do I go for the Saturn Mercury? Do I go for the platinum? Do I go for black? Do I go for the cherry black? And I really like the colour of this blue, so I was like, if I'm going to test a bow, chances are I may shoot this bow. So let's sort of pick the colour I like for the review. So I ordered this bow in for the review. Alright, so let's try out the draw cycle first. So this bow this is factory set, so it's a 60-pound bow at 29 inches. So to start off with, it's quite firm to start with, and that's what you want to get speed. So this is going to be a performance bow. Feels like all the way through that draw cycle, it feels the same poundage. So once you get started, the first inch, it feels like 60 inches for that first inch, and it feels like 60 inches. It feels easier as you're basically moving because you're starting to get your back into it. So that first inch is a killer. After that, it feels like it's getting easier. Now it's dropping. There. Oh. Let me just let that down. So the valley itself is very short. It's very different to the EM cam draw cycle. It's smooth all the way through, and in fact I can't even feel it dropping into the valley, but you get to the valley at the end, where the EM is, it's a harder draw, like much harder draw, and they both have short valleys, but this feels relatively comfortable at the end, and it feels different to the Supra, even though it's got the same cam. So I'm not sure if that's... And I shot the Supra 37 inch, so I don't think it's limb size. I think it's the way the bow's actually configured. So let's shoot the shot now. The arrow I'm shooting through the chronograph is a gold tip velocity. It's a 400. It's got a 80 grain point. Weighs 327 grains. This bow is rated at 324 feet per second, 7.25 inch brace height, and a 75% let off. Adjustable down to 65. $290. Very, like, the draw length feels short for me. It's on 29, so maybe I'm growing in my old age. One thing I like about the PSEs, and I've kind of been stuck with shooting PSEs, and when I say stuck with shooting PSEs, PSE don't give me bows. I wish they did, but they don't. They don't even do me discounts. So one of the reasons I like PSE is its adjustable rotation on the draw length. Like, one of my staff shoots a Matthews, and he's replaced the modules 4 times on the bow to get the draw length to try and make it feel right. Where you've got to send the module away, get the module back, it's just like, it's painful. This, like, if I want to try half an inch more, it's currently set on G. I'll move it, A being the biggest, I'll just move it 1 letter in that size. So these are VAPs. I shoot these for target. They're a 350 spine with 140 grain point. Sometimes I say 150 grain point. It's the maximum point weight, which back then was 140, now it's 150. They weigh 390 grains. .271 feet per second. The difference between this bow and the EM, it's just worlds apart. The difference between this bow and the Super is so different. It's crazy. Like, if I said to you the axle size is the same, the brace height's the same, it's got the same cams, the bow should be the same. It should feel the same. There should be no difference. The only reason I'm buying this bow is because it's a pretty blue color, which is part of the reason why I was like, well, I like this blue, maybe I'll go for a Citation. Like, I can remember back to when I did the Citation 40-inch review, and it was a bit unfortunate for the review because the cable guard came loose in the review. It was one of the first Citations made, and I think I was shooting okay. But I think I felt a bit of vibration. This feels pretty good to shoot. The draw cycle feels like this is 60 pounds and I'm not fatiguing. I find the EM on 55 pounds much harder, unless I've built up, unless it was just my morning breakfast of 3 eggs. Like, this is just... But boy, like, there's some noise there. 267. Feels short, I'm going to say. Look, I'm going to grab the EM because I'm just... Maybe it was my high protein breakfast and maybe all the rest off, or maybe it's the magnesium tablets. I don't know. This does not feel like 60 pounds. It doesn't feel like much over 50. And it certainly is a 60 pound bow. So it's... Let's grab the EM. When I do these reviews, I haven't pre-shot the bow. This is me shooting the bow for the first time. Now, this is the EM Citation. So I've been shooting this bow, and we put limb dampeners on it because we felt a bit of vibration when we shot it. It was fast, and I've got it wound down. So this is a 60 pound bow, and you can see I've got it wound down. So it's on around 55, and I fatigued on this, and I shot it before the Nationals. The week before the Nationals, and I shot particularly well with this bow. Like, particularly well that I was really confident, but I didn't have the confidence that I could shoot 144 arrows with it. I wasn't confident in the wind. because I hadn't shot this bow in the wind, and it was a very windy day. So see here, it's quite hard. It's a very solid drop off. Now, that's a VAP. Let's just put this in perspective. That's a VAP 350. So the same arrow I just shot out of the SE cam. This bow is 55 pounds and it shoots the same speed as the SE cam. 269. Now, I'm going to say the draw length on this feels too short for me. The SE cam feels too short for me at 29. This is 28.5 and it feels too short. So look, the draw cycle is different. It actually feels a bit lighter to start. Then it feels heavy there, and then it just lumps over. Like, it's not bad. And that was 275. It's just so quick. It's just so quick. So I'm not sure with the EM cam whether it's just the draw length is too short for me, so I'm not getting my arm in the correct position where I want it, so I'm not getting my body in the correct position, or whether I prefer the draw cycle on the SE. And I'm shooting, I've got two Supras, I've got two 40s, two 40-inch Supras and a 37-inch Supra. The 240s are EM cam, so it's this cam system. And they feel completely different to draw than this bow. This one feels like it feels like more of a speed 3D bow for some reason. It's really, I don't understand it at all. But with all bows, it's all very well to say, look, you know, one person prefers this bow to that bow. You know, I had a customer in on the weekend, and he was trying out the newer lead, and he was like, "That's good," and I'm like, "Yep, it is." And he tried out the new Hoyt, and he's like, "Oh, I think that's better," and I'm like, "Interesting. I think the Hoyt's really good too. I think the Elite's better." And but he liked the Hoyt better, and this all gets down to personal preference. And I think when you choose a Citation 36 or a Citation 40 or a Citation with an EM or a Citation with an SE, it gets down to what you like the feel of. Like, that's at 60 pounds and I'm holding it. It's... Look, I'm preferring this. I'm preferring this because it's not dropping into the valley. It's a much smoother draw cycle for me, so I'm not getting that. I don't know if you saw, well, you obviously did if you're watching the video, but the arrow on the EM bounced for me when I was drawing it back, which is one reason why I wound that bow down so much, to make that draw smoother. So on my blade, the arrow's like bouncing. That's because I'm having trouble drawing it. Sometimes it can be through pinch on the knock, knocks touching, but I set that up so there was no pinch. And on the weekend when I shot that bow, I shot it for 2 days, I had no arrows bounce off the blade like I just had in that review. So at 55 pounds, I find the EM harder than this bow at 60, and they produce the same speed. This wouldn't faze me at all shooting this bow at 60 pounds, not one bit. I don't feel any strain at all in my body shooting this bow at 60. So with that, what we're going to do, we're going to go back to 18 meters. So I'm going to sight this bow in and see what sort of grip we shoot. Now I'm going to say it is a 7.5, 7.25 inch brace height, so it should be quite easy to shoot. But this bow would definitely be better with stabilizers to shoot, because that's what it's balanced for. It's balanced to be shot with a target stabilizer. But all my reviews, I do the same without stabilizers. It's just a D-loop and a cheap $20 sight and a $20 arrow rest. So let's go back to 18 and see how we go. So I've sighted the bow in at 18 meters, and I haven't hit a 10 yet, but I think I will this shot. So it was particularly easy to sight in. I feel like I'm going to shoot this particularly well. Now when I shoot it, it kind of moves out like that, but it's not like it's a shake like that. It's just a flow thing, so it feels very controllable. The draw feels very easy for me. The aiming, the pin just sits in the center. I mean, I'm not getting really much shake at all, like left to right. Maybe just a little bit of up and down movement, but very stable. So that's what I'm going to say, very, very stable. I'm going to say I prefer shooting this bow to the other bows I've shot in the past. And I'm going to say moving from the Supra 37 to the Supra 40 EM, so that was the Supra 37 with the SE cam, same cam as this, to the 40 inch. I really didn't notice much difference. My scores were the same. I got another Supra for shooting indoors, 50 pound, because I thought it'd be a bit more forgiving. Shooting this bow at 60 pounds here, this grip is the same as all the PSE. So if you're familiar with PSEs, you're going to find this grip really easy. It's a good grip. I'm going to say this bow feels really, really easy, even at 60 pounds. I was thinking, well, I'm getting old now, so maybe all my strength's going away. Maybe I'm just going to be stuck shooting 50-pound bows from now on. And maybe I just need to grow up and just think that's the way life is. But shooting this at 60, I'm like, I feel strong. I feel strong. This bow feels easy to shoot at 60, where I'm going to say the Super at 50 felt particularly easy. And the Super at 55, I'm going to say that feels a little bit harder than this at 60. So, but the bow feels particularly easy, and it feels very controllable. I don't feel like I'm going to throw a stray arrow, so it'll be interesting to see whether I do or not. I'm going to say out of all the bows I've shot, and I've shot pretty much every bow, this feels really good to me. The draw feels really good, and it feels really nice. And originally I only brought this because I thought I liked the blue. I was going to try, and I am going to try the Bowtech Reckoning, the 38. I'm going to try Elite Remedy, the Result. I'm going to try all those for target as well. But I just saw the blue and I was like, well, I like the limb locking feature of this, where the limbs lock into place. So anyway, let's see how it shoots. Like the bow, I often talk about holding weight, how the bow feels back here. Like if you've got no holding weight, you get back here and you're just like floating around the place and there's no follow through. This feels perfect to me. And it's not that I'm comfortable with PSE in particular. It just feels perfect. With the EM, I shot well with it. I shot periods of just brilliance with it. But it never felt comfortable. It felt like a fast 3D bow to me. And I just couldn't, I don't know if it was the draw length or what, I just couldn't get it to feel spot on to me. These little strings are in the way. This, straight out of the box, it just feels like, even to let that down, a lot of bows just to let down, they hurt your body to let them down, because the valley is so severe, it really rips your shoulder to let the bow down. It's obviously nothing, because I've done it quite a few times. And when you're at a tournament and you've got to let down because there's some wind or something doesn't feel right, you don't want to feel like your body, your shoulder's going to get ripped up out your shoulder. So it makes you think twice about letting down. what I found with the Citation EM 36 is I shot it particularly well if I was quick. So if I got the shot off before I fatigued, where here I'm not feeling any fatigue at all. It just feels comfortable. Which kind of doesn't make any sense to me because I'm currently shooting recurve a lot and I'm shooting at about 50 pounds, so I should have plenty of back strength to be holding the bow, but I really fatigued, and I really fatigued on the weekend at the national championships in the wind because I was holding for that much longer in the wind. It took a big toll of me on some shots. I mean, I did shoot a perfect end at 50 and the arrows weren't bad overall, but it was hard work. Where there's some bows when you're shooting, they feel too easy. You're holding, you're back here at full draw, you're holding 90% lead off, and it feels too easy, and you kind of let your shot down, you let the pressure off a bit, you don't put your full back into it, and you end up with an average shot. This just feels comfortable all the way through. It just feels like an old shoe. This feels like a bow that I'm comfortable with. It feels like the best of all the bows I've ever shot. It's really good. That time I got a bit of shape because as I went, I thought to myself, I went, this pin is not moving outside this 10. I'm just shooting this thing so well. And at that point, the pin drifted out to the 9, to the left, and I was pulling it back in when the shot went off, so I got a bit of a kick. It just felt... This is the thing, this bow feels easy. I feel it's forgiving to shoot. Man, this is... I don't normally sell my other bows. Like, I normally hold them, and I kind of keep them. I keep one for cloud, I keep one for field. I just keep them there because I've shot them for a long time. I feel like selling my other bows and just buying these. I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I can see the knocks down there are pretty good because it's, outdoors and it's sun. But this feels great to shoot. And the thing about it, like, it's quite warm, so, I don't know, like it's quite warm in the sun, and my hands are a bit sweaty. So the riser is quite, if you know what I mean, it's like I've got moisture on my hand, and this is still, I feel confident shooting this. Like, there's no issue at all. That was me. That was 100% me. I can tell you what I was thinking. I was lining up. I was lining up the string with the pins, and I was thinking, do I shoot the string on the left side like I do with a recurve? So with a recurve, you line up the string down the side of your bow when you kind of aim. And I was thinking, do I do that? Have I been doing that with this bow? Like my eye was to the left of the string, where I think normally it's straight down the middle. And I had my string I had the string to the right of my eye, if that makes sense. So when I was aiming, the string I could clearly see down the side when normally it's dead in the middle. I was like, so that was just completely me. Like, there's no, that doesn't, when I shoot a bad shot like that, it doesn't worry me at all, because it's like, that was a good shot. I'm doing the same thing now. I'm thinking, I'm thinking about where that string is. I don't know where it was before. Anyway, we're going to shoot a few more because I don't know where that string was. It was funny because when I brought the string dead in the middle, I was having trouble seeing the pin. So that one I had the string dead in the middle of the pin. Shows you the difference between moving that string left and right. Maybe that's what I did with my recurve. With my recurve, I'm getting some left and right movement, so maybe it's just that. It's in my head now which way I'm holding this. But the bow itself, I really like. It's probably not looking like it, but I really am. I'm so comfortable back here. I've got questions now where I hold the string. Yeah, I've done my head in. Wow, that's amazing. This is the thing, if you're thinking about stuff, it doesn't work. And I'm really thinking about which eye's open now, I'm thinking about where I'm aiming. But the shot itself feels great. Okay. So there I am, I'm thinking, oh, am I aiming the string the right way or not? Am I overthinking this? And I put an arrow in the 6. And I'm like, I don't really throw 6s. So I thought, is it the cable guard? Remember when I did the Citation 40 and this cable guard came loose? Came loose again. That's throwing the arrows. That's throwing the arrows. Now there's 2 grub screws here which have obviously vibrated loose, but before that, God, it felt good. Now, just on this point, you can put a bit of Loctite on those screws to stop them coming loose, which is what I will do. Now, since I've done that with the Citation, so I had the same issues with Citation EM, so since I've done that, nothing's come loose. That's just amazing difference. Like, anyway, it's a thing to watch out for if you start shooting the arrows out to the right. Cable guard moving in. And like, you can see how much difference it makes. It's that much difference. So that much difference makes that much difference down there. I mean, it could be me, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't. So let's go down there and have a look. So I'm up here at the target. Now I think I started off shooting pretty good with this bow, and I had massive amount of confidence when I was shooting it. When I sighted this in, I went ping ping, and the arrows were like right next to each other. I'm like, I've so got this. And this bow just felt fantastic, if I didn't say that enough. And I start shooting these arrows off, and I'm like, well, is it because the string's off to the side? Why am I not seeing the string? Why was I not seeing this before? Why are things different? And I shoot a couple more out there, and I'm like, this is weird. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe my shooting technique's gone to rubbish. And I missed the target. And I'm like, is my shooting technique really gone to rubbish? Or is something gone wrong? And that's why I took the cable guard. Okay, so my summary. I really like the Citation SE. I much prefer it to the EM. I really like the 36. Now I did shoot the 40 with the SE cam, and I'm preferring the 36 just the way the bow feels. And I know it's not set up for stabilizers, but I really want to give this bow a go. I want to set it up with target stuff. I want to see it. I remember when I did the review of the Perform 36 or 37, and people said, you shot that bow really well. And I'm like, yes, but then I brought the 40 for myself because I thought it's more target orientated. So I'm like, I really want to give this bow a go. I want to give the 36 Citation a go with the full target set up and see how well I shoot. Now, when I do reviews like this, and obviously like things come loose like it did with the Citation the first time I reviewed it, some manufacturers will get angry at you. I don't know if PSE do get angry with me. I mean, PSE have spoken to me about it. And they're like, well, at least they're like, well, your videos are always like this. They're always truthful. You're always, it is what it is. I do this because if you brought this Citation, you have this problem, you know how to fix it. Basically, the reason you train with the bow and you set up a bow and you shoot thousands of arrows is when you get to the tournament, you're 99% certain that bow is going to shoot another 100 arrows perfect for you because you've shot 1,000 arrows beforehand, which have all been good. So when I finish a tournament, I'm very thankful that I finish a tournament because 1,000 things can go wrong, things can come loose, things can happen. Saying that, all my bows have the original strings on them. I haven't had any equipment failures ever. I've never not finished a shoot. I've once had my prism once came loose at a Clout Championship. That wasn't a bow problem. It's a handmade thing. The glue broke in it when I was leading. I ended up not winning. That was a bugger, but I always finish the shoots. I've been shooting for almost 40 years now, and I've finished every shoot I've started. So I'm going to say the bows are pretty dependable. So when you see things break down like this in these videos, it's because this bow's straight out of the factory. It's straight out of the factory. And I'm going to say, well, I think maybe they should put Loctite on these screws from the factory. And I would have thought from my first video, if PSE saw it, they should have put Loctite on those cable guards from the factory back then. Now on my EM, I put these things here. These are from Limb Saver. They're like dampeners, so they absorb shock from the cable guard. There was no real reason why I put them. It's just like, well, why not? I'm trying to minimize the chances of something going wrong. So overall, let's talk about price point where this bow sits on the market. In Australia, it's retailing currently right now. I retail it for about $2,200. I'm not sure if that's going up in price because the Australian dollar's dropping, freight's going up. Other people retail it for $2,500, but they don't purchase it from me, so they probably purchase it in Europe or somewhere. maybe they're just marking it up more. I don't know. But okay, so I retail it for 2,200. The Hoyt Invicta, which is its competition, in the moment in Australia retails for 2,700, so it's $500 cheaper. The PSE Super, which is the model down from it, retails in Australia for about 1,700. So you're paying $500 more for the shoot-through riser. These risers take 4 times as long to make than a Super riser. They have a locking system in the limbs, so the limbs can't come loose, which I like. But basically it's the same. Well, when I say it's basically the same, it's basically the same bow as a Supra, but this bow is a bit different. The limbs are a bit different. So that's why I'm kind of keen to try this out. I've shot limbs like this before when I shot a Bowtech, and they have the limbs that tapered in, and I kind of liked it. It's not that I shoot better scores or anything, I like the bow. It just seemed like a good thing. So I'm pretty keen to give this bow a go and to shoot it and see what sort of scores I can shoot with it. So with that, I think I'll set up one of these bows for target, and we'll do some reviews and see what sort of scores I shoot with it. See if I find it forgiving to shoot, or see if I shoot arrows out to the side. That was quite dreadful, wasn't it? How funny, it was like a year since I did the Citation 40 video with SE cams, and the same thing happens with a 36. It's like, I was so confident. I was like, I'm going to nail this. I so got this. Then my confidence got shattered. I was like, what am I doing? Am I doing this? Oh. I end up shooting worse than my recurve. Okay. Part of the fun of shooting bows and arrows, I guess. With that, I'll enjoy your archery, and I think we'll set up one of these for target shooting. And we're going to do a review on the Super RTX, the latest bow from PSE for 2022, and see how we find that bow.